Hello there, many thanks for joining us in our midweek business news report. It's now time to bring you the feature on the show today as we look at the rise in food prices amid rising inflationary trend we have in the country today. Now, the National Bureau of Statistics in its March inflation data shows that the composite food index rose to 17.2% in the month of March this year compared to the 22.95% it recorded in March last year. On a month-on-month basis now, the food sub-index increased to 1.99% last month, and this was up by 0.12% from the 1.87% which was recorded in February. Now, the average annual rate of change of the food sub-index for the 12-month period ending March 2022 over the previous 12-month average was 19.21%. Now, the agency, that's the National Bureau of Statistics, blames the rise in food index on increases in the prices of bread and cereals, food products such as potatoes, yam and other tubers, fish, meat, oil and fat. Well, joining me now virtually to discuss this and much more, I have the Chief Executive Officer of EnviroGrow Farms, Nkiru Opereke. Thank you very much for joining us on the Breakfast Show this morning.
Thank you, Dami, for having me. Good morning.
Now, let's start with the impact of the Russia-Ukraine crisis, which is definitely heightening the lapses in countries dealing with food security challenges. Now, Nigeria is one of those countries, as we cannot still produce what we need to eat. At the start of the year, your statement was very clear. Government isn't tilting the investment base and encouraging conversations that would foster agri-development at the pace that can turn around or create some change in the food price index we see in the market. This is the start of the second quarter of the year. Would you say the status quo still remains?
Yes, nothing has changed from what I said and what we're seeing on ground. Government is still not making any investments in agriculture. You and I know now they're more interested in the politics in 2023, irrespective of what is happening. There's no change in investment. Fuel prices are high because we farmers also use generator for irrigation and all that. The roads are bad. The cost of bringing in trucks are high. So basically, nothing has changed from January when I spoke with you till now.
And are you impressed at all with the conversation around the pace of creation of new food hubs in safer areas of the country? So in terms of governors' interaction, creating new food hubs was one of the bigger conversations we had at the end of the year, and also Lagos State government is also championing that as well. We've seen some moves looking at how things are panning out. Would you say that the pace is at one that you can say it's commendable?
No, these food hubs have just been created on the pages of the newspaper. Nothing has happened. You can't even tell me any of the new food hubs that have come on ground. None. It's just what they have said they're going to do on the pages of the newspaper. No new food hubs have happened. Whatever food hubs you have are the ones that are existing.
In terms of, let's also look at this bigger picture from your own perspective as a farmer now and an expert within the agri value chain. Now, cost-cutting measures in the production value chain is one of the critical elements which is further heightened by insecurity and transportation costs as we have in the country today. Do you think we have any chance at cutting the production cost of food and transport to market with these constant elements when we're looking at transport infrastructure and insecurity? Do you think we can, by any slim chance or fate, reduce the cost of food production in the country across the value chain?
No, we can't, because what has happened is that power is a big factor into food production. Transportation is a big factor into food production. None of those prices have gone down. They've actually gone up. We need, as I mentioned initially, we need power for irrigation. Okay, fertilizer. Yes, the Dangote fertilizer has come on, but we're not getting fertilizer cheaper than what it was actually. So there's none. All the inputs, most of the seeds we use in our production, we don't have. Yes, we have seed council, we have seed production, but most of the seeds we still use in country for most of our food production. They are still imported, and you all know what dollar is. The importers can't get access to those dollars through the CBN, so they're still buying them through the parallel market. So all the inputs, for me, I'm speaking for me and from all the other farmers I talk to, our cost of production haven't gone down.
Okay, we seem to have a poor connectivity there. We've been speaking with Nkiru Opereke, the Chief Executive Officer of EnviroGrow Farms. We've been looking at the state of inflation in the country and how this is affecting food. I have you back now. Please continue, Nkiru.
No, I said the cost of production hasn't gone down. Look at it, poultry farms. A lot of poultry farms have shut down. Why? Because of the single input into poultry farming is maize. There's such a high cost of maize.
Okay, now
so no production, no farmer I know production cost has gone down. All our production costs have gone up.
Wrapping up our conversation now, in terms of creating some respite as well, how aggressive would you want us as farmers and the consuming populace to accelerate efforts in the growing of plants to be grown during the rainy season? The rains are gradually coming. You look at the likes of cassava, maize, groundnut, rice, yam, millet, at least to have cheaper costs at the time of harvest. How aggressive would you say we have to run with the timeline of the rainy season to have these products?
Government has to step in to help farmers, to giving them inputs like high yield cassava inputs, high yield yam inputs, to be able for farmers to be able to absorb the cost of production. Because even though the private sector is not investing so much in agriculture, so government has to come in. They have the anchor borrower scheme. It's worked in some places, it hasn't worked in some places. But for us not to have a major food crisis before by the end of the year, government has to come in to help farmers with inputs.
Thank you so much for your time on The Breakfast Show. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Nkiru Okbereke, the Chief Executive Officer of EnviroGrow Farms, and hopefully government listens, and by the start of the next quarter, we don't have the same old conversation on what government is not doing. Thank you once again.